little friend. There's a little friend on my butt. Hello, friends and fays. I wanted to talk about my split tongue. So I got my tongue split in October. So it's been almost 2 months now. You can hear how I talk. I sound pretty normal at this point. Disclaimer, I'm not a doctor. I'm not encouraging you to do this. I'm just sharing my experience of this choice that I made. And I'm not necessarily going to be sharing like risks and things. You're going to have to do your own research if you are looking for getting this kind of body mod done. The guy that did it, his name is Sean. I can link his Instagram in the description below this video. I guess I'll just start from the beginning. Getting it done. I was pretty nervous. I had to make the appointment ahead of time. It was like 3 months in advance. Usually these people just, they travel around, and so you have to make sure they're within your area or somewhere that you can travel to. I was really lucky that he just came to Seattle because I don't think I would want to travel. If I traveled somewhere, I would have needed to stay there for the entire healing process. Like, that would not be fun to get back on a plane or in a car and travel back home. That would just be crazy, you guys. Going in, it was really, really fast. He was like, okay, we're gonna numb you. We're gonna mark your tongue, and then we're gonna cut it. And I was like, okay. And I had my boyfriend with me, and he watched the whole thing. Don't know how, don't ask me. But yeah, so I stick my tongue out, and he marks it, sticks a needle in there. He does lidocaine. They inject lidocaine into the tongue, so you can't feel the tongue. They wait a little bit for the numbing to go into full effect, and then they cut the tongue, and you're kind of just sitting there like, and he had another person with him that was behind me and kind of holding her arms like this and helping him, while also I was leaning back on her, and so I was trying to be as relaxed as possible while and it went really fast. I could kind of feel the movement, but I couldn't actually feel the cutting. He cut off that webbing that's under the tongue first, and then he kind of perforated both sides, the top and the bottom, and then cut it through. And after that, I didn't really feel it, but my body just started to pass out. I started to almost black out, so he stopped, he stepped back, and he said, okay, we're just gonna wait for a second, just breathe. And I was like moving my wrists and like moving my legs around, and so, but I also caught a glance of my boyfriend just watching me and just locking in with me. So I just looked into his eyes and I was like, okay, I'm gonna breathe. And I did, and then I got through it, and he started on the stitches. There's also only a certain amount of time that you can keep the numbing, like it'll go away kind of quickly, so they have to work pretty fast. So he started on the stitches. The stitches went really fast. Once he started, it was just like boom, boom, boom. He got it done. They took some pictures. I was out of there, and we had to walk back to the car in the city. But I was like, oh, I need to get back to the car, but at this point I can't talk. So that was my experience getting it done. We go back home. I tried taking painkillers like ibuprofen, Tylenol, stuff like that, and it like didn't even help. It actually made it worse because I was having to put the medication all the way to the back of my throat and then using my muscles, and it was just horrible. So after the first day, I didn't try to use any medications anymore. I did sleep pretty well, and I was kind of surprised, but my tongue just was swelling up so big. It was so hard to keep my mouth closed. I was pretty much just like for 2-3 days. And by day 2, I pretty much stopped eating. I got a little squirt bottle that had a long squirt thing on it so I could put it all the way to the back of my throat and like squirt water. And I started actually making tea, but it was a plastic bottle, so I didn't want to put hot tea in it. So I started doing iced. I would put ice in it and pour the hot tea in the ice. So it was like the best I could do. So I was making chamomile and tulsi tea and whatever else herbs I was throwing in there, but I was making like herbal tea so I could like rinse my mouth with herbal tea, which tulsi is also very antibacterial and chamomile is very anti-inflammatory and calming. So I was just trying to like sedate myself with herbs the whole time. Yeah, and by day 2, there was a noticeable cold sore breakout. So if you don't get those, good for you. It is herpes. It is an HSV1 virus. And I think I got it like right here. And it just makes sense because I got literally all my nerves cut. So stress, pain, trauma, like it popped up. And I just had to deal. I was just like, oh, okay, this is happening now. So pretty much I stopped eating. And then on day 3, I woke up in the morning. I was waking up at like 5 a.m. and I was just having like massive breakdowns. I was having to wake my boyfriend up and tell him to turn on music. Like I couldn't do it myself. I couldn't do anything myself, really. I felt completely just like a baby, not being able to do anything because my body was in full healing mode, and so it kind of felt like I had the flu. Like I could feel pain just like all in here and even in like my sinuses, and my body was just reacting, had an immune response, was trying to fix itself. So that was pretty crazy, but I would have him turn on music, like really calming music, and then I would just breathe with the music, and the pain throughout the day would come in waves. I pretty much stayed inside all day this whole time until about day 6. Yeah, on day 3 I started also doing licorice root tea because that's also antibacterial. Day 4, the healing, I started realizing the healing was way worse in the morning. And then I also started noticing my teeth were sensitive. And it's because there's so many nerves in the mouth. It's just like a web of nerves that when there's pain in the mouth, your body isn't really that connected to where the specific pain is coming from because all of it is connected. So your brain just sends signals everywhere. I started trying to use ice, but ice was actually way too cold. Your tongue is so sensitive that too cold, too hot, too much air, too much anything is not good. You'd think that you could eat smoothies or ice cream or stuff like that, but it's like, no. I tried to drink a banana and water smoothie, and I was sitting there like a bird going, I could not get it down. It would just fall out of my mouth, and I had to be like over the sink, and it was just not even worth it. I was really dehydrated too, even though I was trying to drink water. I just could not get enough, and my body was using up everything it had. So like the palms of my hands and my feet were always like dry. Like I could touch it and it would like indent. So I had to rub a bunch of oil all over my hands and my feet and put socks on, and it kind of helped, but not really. What I really needed is to drink a bunch of water and probably get some salt, but I couldn't. Day 4, I was able to take out just the tip stitch. My boyfriend did all of the stitches. He just took out the tip, and it actually gave me a lot of relief because there's healing that can't be done when there's stitches in there. So I did that. Day 5 comes around. I did sleep, and I actually dreamt a lot. I don't know if that's connected to anything, but I actually was dreaming, so that means I was actually sleeping. And my tongue was like covered in like this white fibrin. It's called fibrin. It's essentially like a scab, but because your mouth is moisturized, it's like this white stuff, but you can't like scrape it off. And you actually don't want to scrape it off because it's kind of like if you pick at a scab over and over, it's not healing. But essentially over the whole top of the tongue, there was just this nasty like white layer of like carpet. It was like carpet. You could not get it off. I was getting really dizzy that day, probably because now it's been like 5 days since I've actually eaten food. So I was getting dizzy waves, and we actually did take out a couple more stitches just on the ends, but we left the rest of them for the next day. And like Gavin was able to clean up like the plaque, the like fibrin a little bit like off of them. Blech. It's so gross to remember, to be honest. On day 5, I was also finally able to actually fully clean my mouth, floss my teeth, brush my teeth and everything. And I had some more energy to like move around and be with other people. I feel like I was a little bit on a fasting high. Because if any of you guys have not eaten for days, you actually get energy at some point when ketosis kicks in. But I did notice that I was still kind of slow and weak. I was still drinking tea. I did sit in the hot tub a little bit and did like a cold shower. I also felt like a release in my sinuses, like there was like a pop. And I think it's just because there was so much inflammation, and then I went in the hot tub in the cold and it kind of like balanced it out. I have a mouthwash that has colloidal silver in it, so I was like swishing that in my mouth all day and it helped a lot. My boyfriend does sound healing, so I like laid on one of our massage tables and he did like a whole sound healing on me, and I also noticed a lot more like release in like my neck and just my head in general. It's like having the flu and then the flu subsiding and everything kind of like releases and drains. So on day 6, I woke up ready to get these stitches out. I was like in the bathroom cleaning my mouth as much as I could, trying to wake up my boyfriend because I want these things out. I think we took him out at like 11 a.m. So I was up early because I had been getting up early because it's just not comfortable. You wake up and you're like, I just have to get up for the day. It's also kind of like when you're sick and you wake up and you've been laying down, and so you need to stand up and move around so everything like starts moving and draining out again. I think we actually did go to the store. Like I actually got out of the house and I went to the store. I still couldn't talk. Because I hadn't been talking, it actually felt like this spiritual experience of being in silence and not being able to eat or barely drink anything and not being able to talk or talk to anybody. I was just observing things for days, and it was actually, that was probably my favorite part. Is after that, coming out of that, I actually didn't even feel like I wanted to talk. I could, but I felt like I really enjoyed being quiet. And my words were getting a little bit better, but my tongue would be tired. Like by the end of the day, I'd be talking like this, blah blah blah, because even now sometimes when I'm talking my tongues will kind of like do this kind of thing. And so I feel like it's teaching me to just be gentle and slow and more articulate. On day 7, hence I don't have any stitches in anymore, I woke up dancing. My speech was getting way better. I can drink easily. I was actually drinking warm tea out of a regular ceramic mug. I remember we had gotten apple juice when I went to the store, and I don't know why I wanted apple juice, but I was like, I want apple juice. That's what I want. And I actually cried when I drank it, and my boyfriend was like, what's wrong? And I was like, no, nothing's wrong. I'm just so happy to be able to be drinking this apple juice. Like, I'm so grateful for this apple juice right now. Things I wish I would have done better or like understood, because there was so many things There was so many things that I wish I would have understood. I thought I had a good understanding of the healing process. I was like, oh yeah, I mean, it's gonna suck, but like, I'm probably just gonna lay around for a week and then I'll come out of it and I'll be fine. And I feel like a lot of the way people talk about it, we forget about how bad it was by the time we start talking about it, because we can't talk about it while it's happening. And then naturally, humans forget their pain. You know, women forget what it was like to give birth, and so on and so on. I really wish that I would have known to close my mouth more often, that was actually really important, because the tongue gets so big that you're just like it feels like it's choking you when you put it in your mouth. But what I needed to do is just put it back in my mouth, because what happened is the tips of my tongue got really, really dried out, and it was nasty, you guys. I was concerned. I was like, oh my God, this appendage is stuck in my throat and I can't remove it, and it looks like it's dying. And it smelled terrible. It smelled like a dead animal. My dog smelled my mouth and literally gave me this look like, oh, are you dying? Like, what is going on? I definitely kind of wish I would have done more research, because I feel like I thought that it was going to be a 7-day thing. Like, I was like, oh, it's going to be a week healing. But then after that, you have to relearn how to talk, which is kind of obvious, but not only that, but it wasn't really fully healed. Like, even now, I can kind of like pull it apart and see the scar tissue, and it has grown together just slightly. But it's still new skin. For a while after it is healed, you still can't eat spicy food. You need to be careful about the temperature of drinks on your tongue. I didn't even kiss my boyfriend up until like a month in, because it's still, I would wake up and need to like do a bunch of cleaning because it smelled like something was healing. And honestly, I kind of wish that I would have been a little bit more ceremonial about it. But, you know, generally the people who are doing this kind of thing are really hardcore body mod artists who do tattoos, who do like silicone. I don't know what they're called, but it's like silicone under your skin. This specific guy does a lot of like piercing suspension. So some really, really hardcore stuff. And I kind of wish I would have slowed down and been like, hey, I want to like set an intention and like just be a little bit more, like call in my ancestors or something for some support. Like when I initially got it done, it was kind of psychedelic feeling. Like I got it cut and my body was going through that like DMT experience of like, oh, my body's dying and I have to let go. I have to let go more and more and more, while also staying strong, because I didn't actually want to pass out. Like, I wanted to just like finish the thing. But yeah, having to let go and have that balance of letting go and holding on. Some unexpected positives and realizations. Silence is so important. I was in pain, agonizing pain, and not able to eat, so I was fasting, barely drinking water, and only able to observe because I cannot talk. It does teach you a lot to be silent like that. I highly recommend, honestly, if you could get a doctor or like a naturopath, or you could get a doctor, but on your side, just to be like, hey, I'm doing this thing. It would be nice to get like a mineral IV, like a electrolyte IV, or even a nutrient, like something, some kind of IV. Sean actually recommends that. He was like, if you can, it's nice to do that, because your body is using so much energy. And I mean, our bodies are going to heal, but I think it would have been really nice. Like, my feet and my hands were so dehydrated, I could tell that they were dehydrated. I was like concerned about my health. I would recommend drinking a lot of teas, utilizing a lot of herbs that are antibacterial and stuff, doing like rinses that way, using sea salt water. But you know, you can like research about these things and also ask your guy that you're looking at getting it done from, because he'll probably have any number of things. But honestly, you're not going to be able to eat. You're not going to be able to talk. I had a whiteboard that I was like communicating to my boyfriend with, and I would get like really frustrated because I couldn't write fast enough, like how I wanted to say something fast enough. And it was a whole thing. Anytime I had to move, like if I was in the bed and I needed to get up to go to the bathroom, it was a whole journey, and I would get all stirred up, and then I'd have to go lay back down, get my blanket, cuddle back up. And I also had a towel like the whole time, just like drooling onto this towel. Yeah, it was a pretty crazy, extensive experience, and I probably won't get it re-split. Some people get it re-split because it like grows back together a little bit. And I know that mine has, like that's just what the body does, especially the tongue or mouth in general will heal that. That's my experience, and I'm still loving it. I've had a mixed bag of responses and reactions. Some people are really freaked out. Some people are like, whoa. Some people notice it, but they don't care, or they don't want to ask about it. But I am 26 years old, and I'm allowed to make my own decisions, so it is reversible. I don't think that I'd want to do that either. They have to cauterize it and then tie it back together. That is my experience of having a split tongue, and now I am reptilian. I mean, what do you expect from a feral fairy, you know? All right.